rounds left of our entertaining and exciting LCR season, and we get ready for the Mexican Grand Prix, round number 13 of our 16-round circus here for Season 9. My name, of course, is the voice of LCR Nut Head the action. Alongside me is the OG voice in F1, Ben. And let's have a look at just a few minutes ago. We had a thrilling and epic qualifying session, and here is your grid for it. So pole number 6 for BRL Burundi of the season and of his career. The champs leader has the strong point in P1 today, with the man that took the victory last time out in America. Pier Tramato starts from P2, the Italian taking the first ever Italian LCR victory. Row 2 begins with the championship contender and second place man of the championship of Melanie, starting from P3, with Mr. Saturday in LCR history of KJ Gamer starting from P4 for Racing Point. Row 3 is an all-Renault third row with the two Brazilians of Mont and Dean, Mont out-qualifying his teammate, but they both got a strong handy help of slipstream from the Alfa Romeo camp of BRL Burundi. Row number 4, and rounding out towards 7th and 8th, we begin with Aiden, and the 5-time champion is the only man inside the top 10 to start on the yellow wall medium tyres and has to settle for P number 8. And for the first time all season long, both Ferraris get themselves inside the top 10. Dan out qualifying his teammate in Brad. Watch out for the American and American team. Of course, have a 5-round consistent point scoring finish despite being very much tailed the back marker team. And row 6, outside the top 10, fresh to his tyres, begins with the Scotsman of Amaze, who could be knocked out of the championship potential today. Needs to be outscored by Burundi by 10 points for that to happen. Boris alongside him in P12. And row number 7 begins with the newly added Alfa Romeo driver at Flying Finn. Wazid Haas has now jumped over to the Alfa Romeo team, starts in 13th. And the reserve of Jolly making his return today starts from P14. And the only man who didn't manage to get a qualifying lap time in that session, Sims, the Williams driver who currently sits 4th in the championship, starts from 15th today. But as you can see, the drivers are thick and fast. My name, of course, as I mentioned, is the voice of LCR Nut Head. Alongside me is the OG voice and F1 Ben. And Ben, it weren't the most exciting into qualifying, but it still was a very good qualifying session.
Yeah, certainly so. Burundi with another pole position this season. Pietro Mato starting alongside. Of course, those two, they look very, very strong. Pietro Mato, of course, benefiting from Leopard's penalty given out in the last race. He, of course, will now start. He, of course, now took his first LCR victory of the season. Now, you actually told me before the stream about a special stat to do with that. Would you like to repeat to the ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, of course. So, of course, McLaren took their first victory since Monaco Season 6. It was Melanie in the Mercedes now that took the victory 54 races ago.
Yeah.
And before then, it was LCR Season 2. So, McLaren not exactly successful, but last week, and looks to have a strong contender for the future.
Yeah, certainly so. We're in a pretty good position. I'm going to say this now. Mr. Nuthead, you've had a decent season actually for predicting race winners. So I've done pretty darn terrible as always. So who should we be on today?
Last season it was unpredictable, if you remember right. It was wet towards the end, and VSR Jalex took a very late victory. I'm going to go for another shot victory. KJ Gamer is going to take the checkered flag here today.
We've picked the same person.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll go for Burundi then. I think the championship leader has got potential.
So you'll go boring. I'll go fun. All right. Right. Yeah. No, it's neither one of us pick Leopard. That is because the medium tyres, they're shaking. It'll get interesting. You'll see.
Well, we have to wait and see as we get ready for the 5 red lights. A really long run down to turn 1 springs opportunities up and down the field as we get ready, as the lights get ready to come on just about now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and LCR Season 9 is off in Mexico. It's a good start there from Burundi. Pretty good as well from Melanie on the second row, coming on towards turn 1. KJ fairly slow to get away. That looks like Mon got alongside him. Heading on towards turn 1 though. Melanie has got past Pietro on the way down towards turn 1. They're still side by side though as well. There's also cars in the background. That's the Red Bull of Leopard going to the inside of KJ and Mon that is as well. He can't quite get it. KJ's in a half spin almost. Coming down towards turn number 3 for the first time. Burundi's on safety leads. Ahead of Pietro, ahead of Melanie, and ahead of Mon, who's got himself in a P4. KJ down to P5. Leopard's dropped loads of positions in the end. Way down to P9, just ahead of Apex. There's an Amazon turn 4 in the first sector. It still safely remains the same with Burundi ahead of Pietro, and there's more contact. There's more cars spinning. What's happened?
KJ absolutely sent it on Mon from an absolute 8 from a decade back. He knows he probably can't get stuck behind the Brazilians. Side by side is now Amazed and Aiden for P7, and they're still side by side. Actually, I thought they'd solved the issues, but they're still side by side. Aiden was definitely off track. They're still going. And Amazed hits in. Definitely was an accident. It ends.
And thankfully they get away with it. But here comes Leopard entering
KJ
the stadium section.
KJ's
got past him.
Yeah.
Well, you did say it was going to be a crucial movement on. Look at the lead that Birol Purundi has got clear. 1.6 seconds at the end of the first lap. Just what he needed to begin this Grand Prix. As now the lap times inevitably do glitch, and we have the inevitable glitch that we get. But do ignore it. It's still Purundi ahead of Pietro, ahead of Melanie, and ahead of KJ. Then comes the two runners with Mont ahead of Dean. Now, but crucially, look at the positions that LCR Leopard lost. He thought it was a good start. I thought he was going to get 3 wide and really got his nose in at turn 1, but it wasn't to be. Meanwhile, Boris Letterbox and LCR Apex, you don't often see them two squabbling away, but they are at the tail end of the points at the moment. Meanwhile, would like to mention, by the way, didn't we talk about tyres outside the top 10? Sims and Flying Finn gone for the hard compound tyres, so they're going the long game, as now Boris sends it on the inside of Apex. Also, battle going on behind. I believe that's also Sims and the Alpha Tower of Jolly battling away.
Yeah, moves certainly on to be expected. It's Kate. Wow, that is quick. Okay.
If that's not a sign he's pushing, I don't know what is.
Yeah, lap 2, and we've had our first penalty. This is surprising. It's not normally this early that we tend to have penalties come out. Yeah, the flag 6, 2 and 3. It's his Finn. In his debut for Alfa Romeo, Finn has already had an He's on the hardcore tyres along with Sims. Probably with a 17.7. KJ 17.4. Fast up the race.
DRS now enabled, and Melanie smells blood on the Italian. Look at the lead though. Burundi's got 1.6 seconds. This almost shows remnants to what we saw from Birol Cyrus so many times last season. But it's not quite been that way for Purundi this season. Leopard early 3-second time penalty as well. And we mentioned this in qualifying that corner cutting is very easy to do around here, but to see a 5-time champion, because it's clear that he's pushing because he lost places at the start, not what you need when you're on the alternate strategy. He's not even the highest medium runner now, of Amazed up to P7, but to get an early 3, that's going to hinder him and carry on his head for a lot of this Grand Prix now.
Yeah, penalties is early on. They can... It becomes a psychological battle then at that point of you trying to refuse to get any more. My position right now is he's in dirty air. KJ as well has just entered that dirty air fragment. So he's got to be careful now not to be getting issues with that. And he's at the back end now of this Pietro Melanie train. If Pietro can't get on the back of Prondi might be able to just sod off in this race. That gap already for him is really, really good.
Sorry, I might have been there, but Aiden has been passed by LCR Leopard there, who actually now has DRS as sort of an insult to injury. But, I mean, we have seen a different side of LCR Leopard in the past few races, of course. I hate to say it, but he's been getting incidents and causing a few penalties along the borders. Mays gets past Dean as well into P6. This is a crucial battle,
another penalty.
That is really early. He's clearly struggling too much with the track environment. But
whoa! Dean, Jesus!
Yeah, I thought he was going to absolutely send it. To be fair,
I
was on board.
To be a monumental accident.
It didn't look as bad on board. I will say that. I was on board with him. It didn't look as bad as I imagine it did from the broadcast cam. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, Leopard has been getting very aggressive in the last few races. Been having incidents, and sadly that cost him, of course, that cost him the victory last time at USA. The car off, Jolly's out.
Yeah. Pretty early on, it is in the barriers, so safety car maybe? I'll have to see. I doubt it, because our code bus has been racing. The safety car seems to never come out at the moment. And that seems to be the case.
It's a seasonal thing, isn't it?
Yeah. The safety car... I'm not going to use that analogy. The safety car, how it is... It comes around every 28 days. Let's put it like that.
Meanwhile, Aiden's in for a stop. It's not a front wing. He's gone into the medium compound tyres, so yeah, he's doing the 2-stop. Meanwhile, Apex is battling with Boris again. Of course, Apex on the softs, Boris on the mediums. Good showing by Dan so far, still comfortably in the points. But look at this freeway train now we've got for P2. Mont's dropped nearly 2 seconds back to this battle. But this is really, really close stuff. Pietro, Melanie and KJ, 3 different nationalities. Italian, Finnish and British battling away here for the podium as the Brazilian still leads, but Pietro is keeping him within arm's reach now. It was 1.6, it's about 1.5, 1.4, so clearly a sign that it's not going to be a Grand Prix where he is just going to get away. He just got very fortunate at the start because, of course, Melanie and Pietro are battling away.
Yeah, I mean, kind of to be expected, to be honest. Kind of be expected that, to be honest. More penalties coming in now. Mont, I believe, just got his second penalty already. Yeah, first penalty, sorry. So KJ, this is already his warning play. 2 warnings on the first lap, penalty, another warning, another penalty, and another 2 warnings.
I mean, if you're KJ now, you're surely thinking, right, I just got to send it. Because he's got to basically throw like everything at it on lap 6.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is not exactly like, you know, you'd never say that in a 50% race, but when you've got 6 seconds already hanging over your head, your mentality has got to be all or nothing.
Oh yeah, certainly. It's got to be just send and go, because otherwise, you know, you're pretty much screwed at that point. Actually, Pietro is...
Yeah.
Just about to say that. He's right there with Promny now.
And he's now got DRS, so is the Brazilian letting off? Or, I mean, of course, Pietro's going to be pushing because he's
another
passed by
penalty.
KJ, a 3rd penalty in 6 laps. Now, if that's not a sign that this is not looking like his day, I don't know what is, because, of course, he has had a win this season in that absolutely thrilling Italian Grand Prix that was dubbed, as posted on the YouTube channel, was Into the Pits comes Dean as well, the second of the 2 runners, so he's opted to stop first out of them. But KJ has only scored 25 points all season. Of course, he wasn't here for the United States Grand Prix, did not finish at the Russian Grand Prix. It was looking a good start, but then it all fell apart, and then, of course, won that, as I mentioned, race of the season candidate in Italy, which always seems to produce a barnstormer, as Melanie was getting very feisty behind Pietro there, just a sign to say, yep, I'm here.
You've got to look at Melanie this season. You've just got to say how much he's come from leaps and bounds with this game. He's improved so much this year, and he's done such a great job to be a legitimate championship contender at the back half of the season. Remember last season, if you said Melanie was going to be a championship contender, I would have told you to sod off, because he had one podium all year at Monaco. A race
even this
won
season,
by KJ.
Even this season, he's won 1 race, been on the podium 4 times, which isn't a barnstormer season, but he's always been there. You know, he had 4th places, 5th places. It's enough. As into the pits comes Burundi. Burundi, the race leader and champs leader, into the pits on lap number 8. But going back to Melanie, what I would like to say about him, when the LCR end of the year awards come out for this year, as they will, as Ben has left the session, it's obviously some sort of issue going on with connectivity. We'll try and get it back in as soon as possible. Burundi in, Mont also in, Apex in. My point I was going to make is Melanie is going to be my most improved of the year, without a shadow of a doubt, without a question. Meanwhile, Amazed and Leopard squabbling away for P4. This is crucial. The 2 head medium runners here battling away as they head down towards turn number 4. Leopard's got a run with the DRS, pops himself to the inside line. The Scotsman, though, going to try to defend for all he's got. Heading now towards turn 5, trying to squeeze him out onto the grass. Goes Amazed. He was forced out and wasn't going to hold back. And in the end, Amazed does enough to hold that P4, but gets a time penalty as well. And I'm sure Leopard would be on the radio saying, well, he's got to let me go, because he was ultimately forced out. So Amazed still ahead of him, but they've dropped time to these 3 soft runners, who, of course, are now playing the long game at the moment. Let's see if any of them come into the pits, of course. Burundi, Mont and Dean, everyone so far on the mediums, which would suggest a 2-stop. In fact, it very much imply a 2-stop. As into the pits comes Melanie on lap number 9. However, KJ and Pietro stay out. So only Brad, KJ and Pietro yet to pit from the soft. Let's see if Brad comes in on this particular lap. It's currently in P7. Yes, he does. Melanie goes onto the medium compound tyres for Mercedes. Meanwhile, Leopard blasts past Amaze down the start-finish straight. So he's now into P3. Now the highest medium runner of the lot. Burundi, let's see where Melanie comes out with regards to guys. He's going to be safe. As for Brad, he should come out somewhere where his teammate is at the moment. He's just pitted the lap earlier. Down the straight comes Dan, and he's now going to get ahead of him. So Brad down to 13th, Apex up to 12th. So hopefully we should get Ben back in ASAP. Apologies for the issues. He's just had some sort of Xbox issue where it's literally just died on him at this moment. So bring on the Series X, as I say. Let's try and get that one in. But Pietro has just about got a second away from Cage. It's a pretty poor second sector from the racing point there. So McLaren doing enough to get that crucial second buffer that, of course, we have with the 3 DRS zones around this circuit. As Amaze gets a 3-second time just behind Leopard, of course. Leopard already has one to his name. So now Amaze joins him on that club. And I have to say, if someone doesn't get 3 seconds time, they might win this Grand Prix. Like if Apex doesn't get one, he might end up taking the checkered flag, to be honest with you. But still, a very long way to go as Leopard sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix of 17.4. As for Perundi, he's got traffic. And the traffic is the man that currently sits 4th place in the championship of Sims. It's just trying to get Ben back into the lobby. But let's see if Perundi can find a way past his real championship rival of Sims. He's currently 4th place in the championship. Currently 46 points off him. Could drop out of it after next round. Heading to the outside line goes Perundi. Sims tried to there's contact between the two. And in the end, Sims has to let him go. But that was some really aggressive stuff. Sims had clearly committed to the outside on the racing line. But Perundi still went for the outside. And it led to contact. I don't know if there's any damage. I didn't see any fly off the 2 cars. Fortunately, reduced damage used here in LCR. So they should get away with it. But now, crucially, Perundi has now got no traffic for 7 seconds, but has just picked up his first 3-second time of the day and joins a mega list of drivers that have. Into the pits comes Pietro and KJ on lap number 11. They decide to box. Ben is back though. So, Ben, everyone going for mediums. So, I think these are the 2 hard runners. Sorry, KJ the only hard runner. Sorry, Pietro's got a run on. KJ's got a run on Pietro heading down towards turn 4. They used to, of course, on different strategies, but I'm sure KJ wants to be the car ahead, really, as Melanie sails past Sims. I can't really say that's a surprising move, given the esports team, really. Sorry, what were you going to say? Yeah, there was a bit of a coming together between Sims and Perundi. So Sims are committed to the outside line and towards turn 4. Perundi still went for the outside, and ultimately, because they were so close, they were never going to touch, and they did. And Sims was forced to basically lock up his brakes so he didn't do a pirouette, and it ultimately caused him to lose position and lose time. It just seemed a bit of a silly instant, really, between the two. But then Sims, of course, just let Melanie go and has now got Pietro and KJ closing up. And KJ's got an interesting point here now, because, of course, as you mentioned, probably the only guys from one stop. There's a car off. Aiden has gone off, and he's out at the Mexican Grand Prix. He's lost it at the last corner. Safety car is deployed. But does that not give KJ the lead? Oh, okay, no, I see what you mean. Sorry, I see what you mean. Yeah. I thought you meant like the guys who just pit for mediums as well. I was like... It was a few laps ago. They were the battle away literally as soon as your Xbox died. But yes, into the pits comes the 5-time champ, and into the pits comes the bridesmaid of LCR in a maze. He gets very close to him there. Boris comes in as well, unsurprisingly. Let's see what Purundi does. I imagine he's going to come in. Purundi is coming into the pits. I think it's because he wanted to be ahead of Leopard. I think he just wanted to make sure. So if he was right close to him, there's no way Leopard could slot in between. Leopard's got a penalty, by the way, I should mention. I don't think Pietro's got one at the moment. Boris is probably like a good candidate because he never gets penalties. The one race where he just needed to not get a penalty, he goes and gets one. That is Boris Levok summed up, by the way. I would like to point out, by the way, Ben, of course, everyone coming for mediums, hards. Sims, though, coming from the hards to go on to the mediums. Could he have not stayed out? You can't take mediums 26 laps, can you? Or can you? I guess you can just keep calling out that your tyres are dead but setting fastest laps. I'm not, of course, representing anyone by saying that. As they now head round the final corner with the safety car out on lap 14 we're about to become. It's Pietro who leads the way after taking the victory last time out, but of course has another stop to go due to opting to not pit under the safety car. KJ Gamer didn't pit under the safety car but was doing the softer hard, so has kind of been given a reprieve. Leopard, Amaze, Boris, Purundi, Melanie all pit under the safety car for a set of hard compound tyres. Brad stayed out on his mediums and is now P8. Sims was forced to do hard to medium. And Mont and Dean pitting for a set of hards. Apex, by the way, pit because he got the safety car come out when he was coming around turn 16. So he was able to stop, go into the pits, go on to hards. And Flying Finn also pit as well. For the set of hards that he actually started on the race, but of course spun and had front wing damage, so was forced to change its strategy. But our predictions are slowly and slowly. Yours has become more likely. I hadn't even seen the football. So. Good start. Ben, you're muted again. Is it? Oh, well, it's just the Apex. Miata messaged me saying there's not. Hang on, I'm going to watch the stream. Okay, just keep talking. I'm just waiting for an advert. Anyway, safety car's coming in, so comment on that. Yeah, Ben, I can't hear you. Yeah, I genuinely can't hear you. But we're now getting back to going green flag racing. They come out the final corner now. Pietro's lost it! Pietro spun! KJ goes into him! All sorts of carnage on the safety car restart. There's more cars. Oh, that's Boris half spinning, heading out the final corner. Pietro continues to fall in, but they're back to green flag racing. And unbelievably, it's Amaze who leads the field, heading down towards turn 1. It's Amaze from KJ, from Leopard from Boris, from Purundi, as they now make their way towards the first couple of corners. But a huge incident. Yeah, the stream still can't hear you. I'm not quite sure what's going on. Okay, so apologies for the technical difficulties, folks. We are going to try and get Ben back in so we can hear him. I can hear him anyway in the party, so obviously there's some sort of issue going on, which may mean we might have to restart the stream or something. But for the time being, we're still on the first lap of safety car restart. It's Amaze, the bridesmaid, who leads the way. He's won one victory this season, the Chinese Grand Prix at round 3. Since then, has only had one podium to his name. So now make the way out towards the final corner and onto the start-finish straight. Leopard, though, the 5-time champion, the man that's had 3 victories this season, been on the podium in all races he's attended, bar 1. Makes his way towards turn 1. He's looking the closest of anyone, but of course no DRS in these conditions. Ben, let's do the audio test. Yeah, it's still not. It's still not. I'm really confused as to what's going on. Oh, his cage has gone deep. KJ's gone deep then at the exit of the before they head onto the stadium.
Was cage gone deep?
Yeah, for some reason we're having issues. So we're going to do a quick. Oh, has KJ lost it? Sorry, heading for the stadium section. We'll have to quickly do this section as he's now going to the right. He's actually coming in. KJ Gamer hits, and I hate to be like, God, but I think this is retirement. Yeah, that's it. End of the day. End of the line for KJ Gamer. And in fact, because of the poor exit, it's enabled Boris to get close to a Leopard, but I don't think he's going to try and move, really. Leopard goes defensive. Boris, though, still trying to break around the outside, heading through towards turn 2. Keeps his nose in it, just about, and then gets all sorts of squirmy through that section. That might allow the chance for me to have a bit of a pop as well, Purundi. I don't think he will, so we're going to take a brief break. It's almost like ITV watching this. Remember back in the old days of Formula 1 where they used to take advert breaks. We're about to take one of them. Don't think anything has happened in the short absence of moment, because of course we've done it for the second sector. Of course, KJ is out. If you have just missed that, KJ Gamer out of the Mexican Grand Prix after what looked to be a promising qualifying and was showing good pace, but too many penalties ended up being a virtue for him. So now make their way down towards the start-finish straight. Let's see if Ben can be heard.
Well, let's find out then. On the pit straight, Purundi gaining on Boris. DRS wide open now. Gaining. Don't think Boris is going to fight it too much. Yes, he is actually. Boris is getting a very, very aggressive defensive match. I didn't think he was fighting it that hard. Never mind, he's absolutely stomped in one. Purundi down the inside, makes his way up into P3. According to the Apex Miata, it's all good. Jack, is it all good?
I think so. If he says it's all good, then it must be all good. Woo! Because now he can be heard. Yes, we can hear Ben. That's good. Meanwhile, Melny's trying to go on the outside, and Boris. This is a crucial move because he needs to try and follow Purundi through. And indeed does try to squeeze him out just about. Boris trying to hold his own. Brad in the background as well. So is Sims, of course, on the mediums. He's now gone a long way around. Sims has just done the move of the season in the background on Brad, by the way. For the double-handed right-hander. Swoops right around the outside at turn 6. What a move that was. And he's now behind his teammate, and I wonder if there'll be team orders at Williams, because of course Sims is on an alternate strategy.
Yeah, Sims is on the absolute charge. Surely, I think Boris will stay ahead through this sector, get his team at DRS, and then just waltz him through on the straight. Welcome back, Ben. Thank you very much. That's appreciated.
Thank goodness for that. I'm glad that we don't have to do this entire second half of the race moment, because it's really, really sprucing up to be a really enthralling and thrilling second half to round number 13 of our 16-round circus. As here comes Sims on his teammate. Will Boris let him go to head down towards turn 1? Sims pops himself to the inside line. No, there's no sign of it.
Hello.
And this is interesting, by the way. Because, of course, Boris is stuck in his own sort of challenger battle with the man that's gone out of the session in Aiden. At the moment, Boris will jump him up to P6. Of course, the next man ahead of him is Amaze, who currently leads the way. And I must admit, I mean, Pietro has very much thrown this race up in the air after that disastrous restart.
Yeah, he's kind of made it a bit mental. this race. Now, Peter Pietro, he's currently with Mont. Shout out to Brad in P6. Like P7. He's there. Go on, boy. Go on, Brad. I'm not making any more.
He has another stop to go.
Shut up.
Yeah, but then let's go down into the... Think about it, by the way, with everyone that pits, so Sims, Brad, and Pietro, Dan's going to be an 8th.
Ooh. Best result of the season for LCR Apex was 8th back in Monza.
Was? Good stat. Good stat. Good stat. The most experienced man on the field, of course. 112 starts today in his LCR career.
Also,
the most experienced.
One of only 2 drivers to finish every single race this season, other being Melanie, except Melanie has the distinction of finishing every single race this season in points, with the lowest finish of 9th.
If that's ever not a sign that it's been Melanie's season, then I don't know what is. But speaking of which, he's currently got the 2 Williams keeping him more than for company. Meanwhile, pull on from Brad has allowed Mont to get him close. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. There's a car off. It's Dean. The second of the 2 Renaults has gone off on the exit of turn 3. Flying Finn now gets past him, so Dan's now into the points officially. And that's a shame really for the Brazilian, because I have to admit, they've been quiet today.
He's got a game.
They had a good qualifying. Oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
It's been a good qualifying for them.
Yeah, they had a really solid qualifying. I've actually just had word from KJ of what happened. He got damaged off a McLaren. So I presume Pietro went, KJ walked into him. And that's, of course...
It was a cluster.
That was 2 Shizou drivers coming together as well. Of course, KJ being one of Shizou's main drivers, Pietro Lobato being one of them. Same tier as Mulder, really.
Behind, I think he's not the main eventer. Is I think
behind
that I would really
sitting behind the curtain. That's how.
Yeah,
that's the phrase I'm going to use.
He still flies the Shizou flag, but of course does it on a more discreet basis. Like the fact you would say that I'm a more discreet Tempest Motorsport driver compared to people that have TMS in their name.
I mean, and say you officially recognise yourself as LCR Nut Head, even though you're using an Xbox account called Xbox Nut Head.
Yes. I still will be called LCR now because, of course, this league is LCR. In the same way that LCR Leopard will still rate as LCR Leopard in LCR, where, of course, it should be ERL Leopard.
Yes, Leopard, of course.
Dean goes out.
Yeah.
He's retired.
Yeah, of course, Leopard recently joined ERL. 2 weeks ago on Wednesday. Pretty!
Wow,
yeah.
you've never said that before.
Yeah,
Never would have guessed.
It's still my proudest moment.
So Dean goes out. We're down to 11 in this session. I would like to mention one more retirement. Everyone scores points.
I'd like to also
LCR,
mention Leopard's all up the arse of Amaze.
Yes, I'm riding on board with Leopard at the moment.
Yeah,
I think it's really close. And I was preparing to potentially talk about Amaze going to potentially take the checkered flag, but Leopard looks to more than more want to stomp that theory out of my head, because he's got DRS and about 14 laps to go, and they are comfortably just about 2.4 seconds ahead of Burundi. What's the penalty situation like, Ben? I know Leopard has
just
one. I don't know if
literally
Amaze
looking.
does.
Amaze has 2. Leopard has just a singular 1. But he's got a penalty and 2 warnings. It was Mr. Leopard.
But
so
the funny thing is these two come together earlier on track, and Amaze got a straight free set point for cutting the track, when, from my camera view, it looked like a Leopard had gave him no choice but to cut across the grass. So for the second time in 2 weeks, could the race victory depend on a penalty peel for Leopard?
Oh, God. I don't know what Leopard would do. We've heard about angry Leopards sometimes. We know it's a thing, but a Leopard getting 2 penalties in 2 races for similar incidents, I don't want to be whoever the main steward of LCR is.
Of course, LCR Leopard and Amaze were the 2 new victors crowned in the same season. Australia Season 3, the debutant back then, LCR Leopard. Now, of course, the war veteran back then. But here comes Amaze. Here comes Leopard on Amaze. Amaze took his victory back at Austria Season 3 and has now been dethroned of P1 here in Season 9, Mexico. Leopard takes the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix on lap 23 of 36 and will get the double bite of the cherry as he heads down towards turn 3. Meanwhile, Brad is in for a stop, which promotes Apex into P9. Burundi, another 3-second time penalty. What's the situation with Melanie?
So Melanie is at the moment just running pretty comfortable. His Lactose Pedro Bill seems alright. Melanie has just a singular penalty.
So the theory is he'd finished P2 at the moment.
Yeah, Prondy has 2 penalties. He got 2 of them in the same lap.
Oh my goodness me. Just to put it out, as a make it's another there. That's 9 seconds to his name as he cut across the inside of turn number 9, that was. And has already dropped 1.3 seconds back to Leopard, who is now going to do what Leopard does best, I believe, for the next 13 laps.
Sod off.
Just sail away. Yeah.
Just absolutely sod off. Which, you know what? I don't blame him. He's just gonna potentially social distance from the rest of the field, to use a very up-to-date term.
Yes, on his way to claim victory number 40, the most successful man, of course, in LCR history. Simple as that. The 5-time champion is currently doing a really good job to claim another victory in the books. And of course, as it stands, Porundi will drop out to Melanie. So of course, those two will actually gain on the championship leader, of course, who has led since round 2. He's been in the Championship League. In fact, statistically, it will be the second most dominant championship victory according to leading the championship. The first was Leopard in Season 3 because he led the championship from the beginning to the end. Other than that, Syra led for, I think it was about 80%. Porundi will lead for nearly 95% of the championship because, of course, Sims led 1 of the Grand Prix.
Yeah,
that's a stat, by the way.
That is a stat. That's a stat with a full stop and an exclamation point, which is terrible punctuation.
You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it's the second most dominant victory championship, would you? Because it's been absolutely all over the place with so many different winners across the season that you just wouldn't think it.
The outer ones get part the next season, according to what his comment could what comment it must be. I don't know what's happening next season. All we know is not to put anything in people's heads. There potentially could be no new commentary lineup next season, but who knows about that one, eh?
Yeah, I mean, of course, Season 10 is going to be a big hallmark for LCR. Of course, we are on the road to 150 races. We're on 141 today. So 9 more race weekends. We have 4 more this season. So the 5th round of next season will be the 150th LCR race, of course. We've celebrated 50th, where, of course, EVR Fredster took the victory back at Bahrain. We celebrated the 100th race, which, of course, was won by Jolly at Britain for Alfa Romeo. He was my teammate back then in Season 7.
Hey.
And now here in Season 10, round 5, we will celebrate the 150th, which, for a league, I think is absolutely incredible where you consider where we come from.
Well, think about this. If we use the same calendar, which I very much doubt we will, that would be Monaco. Now, I'm not saying that this season's Monaco Grand Prix, you could agree with me on this, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant race. So, why not do it again? Obviously, I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't like Monaco. I'd prefer something like Belgium or Italy because mentalness. And whatever does happen next season happens, and if myself and Jack were on the grid next season, look forward to when we eventually come back to the commentary box. A lot of stories about how we were mediocre.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it in perspective, by the way. I still remember 100th race of LCR history. I was racing because I was really excited to get racing for it. I knew, in fact, if I was commentating, I'd be even more excited. I was racing for it. I didn't make it around turn 1. It was a 4-car pile-up. On board with the man I am now, Boris Letterbox spun at Village Corner. Was it Village?
Oh no. Was it turn 2?
Yeah, so the fast left-hander, he spun on the grass.
Abbey, then Farm.
Yeah, so he spun at Farm, right, and then just caused an absolute carnage where he was just spinning across the track, and I went straight into him, wheel off. And I just remember loudly shouting an expletive because I was really excited for that race, and it all went down the pan. So Boris, I still haven't forgiven you for that Season 7 incident. All these seasons later.
Well, you can get your revenge in Season 10. Of course, Mr. LCR.
I'll take
Nut
him
Head
out at round 5.
Yeah, Mr. LCR Nut Head, of course, started on the front row of the grid on Tuesday. So. He's got some skills, this lad here.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I was
you know
gonna
what happened to
mention
me?
it, of course, until
I'm
I
going for
did,
pole,
yeah.
I span.
I'll be honest with you. I'd never been so shocked that I went top. I mean, I'm amazed it's another penalty. That's 15 for the day.
Jesus.
Yeah, I will just briefly say when I went purple. Let's put it this way, right? I got an achievement from the game for my first front row start. I've never had it. I got an achievement for a front row start because it never happened before.
Just get drunk one night and just do career mode. You'll get all the achievements in like a day. Obviously, I know you don't drink, so that's a bit of a non-point, but you know what I mean.
No, I do get what you mean. Yeah, have a good night. Meanwhile, lap 27 of 36 in LCR Mexico. It is currently still LCR Leopard that leads the way. I forgot where we were for a second.
You thought of me.
So just to quickly talk to you about penalties, of course, because they are a
Yeah.
big talking point around this circuit. So, as invalidated lap time penalty for Leopard, so you never know what that means. But amazed, if
It's
there is
apparently
invalidated
a
lap time,
warning.
has plenty. Well, he's got amazed there's plenty of warnings. Then, of course, there's
Yeah.
one penalty for Perundi, one for Melanie, so they are equal. Boris has a penalty. Sims, of course, is yet to pit and does have a penalty. So everyone is fairly equal game. So Amazed will drop to as low as like P5 at the moment, which would officially put him out of contention, I believe, for the championship because he had to not be outscored by Burundi by 10 points. Actually, no, it doesn't. It means he's still in by 2 points heading to the next round. So yeah, any one of the top 5 can still win championship, of course, for Amazed. It's very, very unlikely at this point. Meanwhile, battle further down. Brad and Flying Finn battle for the final point. And Flying Finn on his debut for Alfa Romeo. It's not been the ideal debut, but it's still in the points. So credit where credit's due.
Well, he's back with his best friend Brad. These two have battled it out a good few times this season, to put it lightly. They've been together pretty much all season, actually. When Finn, of course, returned back at Canada? Was it? Finn made his return? Have a look.
Let's have a look at the calendar.
Austria.
So you were close. Yeah, it was close to the calendar. 1 round apart.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much since then, him and Brad have just been together with every race, so it's good to see them racing each other again. Finn taking up the entire left-hand side of the circuit there, pretty much running to the exact point where you would get a penalty. One thing to note here at the moment, obviously...
Hello. Sorry to interrupt, but Perundi.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
He is really, really close heading out of turn 3. Now, and this is, of course, for P2.
Yeah. This, right now, if the whole thing we've been saying for most of the season is Leopard needs to win every race this season realistically to get himself back into to win the title. And I said all the way back at Italy, all Perundi has to do is just consistently finish second and he's okay. But at the moment, if he won Russia, then he's second in the USA. If he gets second here today, and Leopard wins, Leopard will jump down in the constructors, whatever happens, the drivers, whichever happens. That will then bring this championship really close. Perundi will go on to 193. Leopard will go on to 157. So it will become pretty close again. And that's where psychology comes in. Leopard has to get himself back in that race-winning margin. So at least at Brazil, on Perundi's home turf, the advantage of Leopard's wins might...
Oh, hello, here comes Boris.
Hello.
Boris flies past Melanie,
hell?
and those two are equal game. That's for position. So that's P4 for the Williams.
And
Melanie down to P5.
That pretty much knocks Melanie out of championship. Pretty much is going to set Melanie to be quite likely knocked out of championship at Abu Dhabi.
I think that's incredible, though, isn't it? The fact that realistically it's like 3 points, but that's docked him out of the championship hopes.
This is, bear in mind, I should point out, ladies, I'm not doing this with a calculator, I'm doing this off the top of my head very quickly. So there is a there's a good 60% chance most of my maths is wrong. So if you, in the comments when this comes to video, if you'd like to actually try and work out the standings after the thing, go ahead, because you've probably gone wrong.
Burundi was deep there, coming in towards the stadium section.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course, so could be a really interesting fight from here on out because, as you mentioned, Leopard needs to virtually win every single race, but Leopard's more than capable of doing that.
It seems fair game at the moment. Yes, he is. So right now, this is pretty much, this race is about to knock out both Melanie and Sims of the championship.
Here goes Melanie.
Speaking of which,
the outside line, he's going to try and go the long way around through towards turn 1. Can he squeeze Boris out? He can, but of course Boris will have the run, but Melanie will have the DRS, so it's almost cancelling each other out really, as the DRS wide open for Melanie, the overtake on for Boris, and I don't think he's able to try and find a way past end down towards turn number 4, and Melanie is back ahead of Boris Letterbox in that crucial move in the championship, of course. But to put Leopard's statistics in respect, by the way, today is his 85th different LCR Grand Prix start in his career. It's the 22nd different driver to enter an LCR race. And he has a record of just under 50% win ratio. But he needs to make that 100% race ratio if he wants to be a 6-time champion. I know, of course, he joined late in the season, and obviously that has not helped him. He joined at round 6 and has now put himself in the championship fight with continuing to be consistent towards the front. But nevertheless, you do feel for the man that's just very much nearly lost the back end in Perondi.
Yeah. Perondi nearly ended in a pretty bad way there. Now, of course, hello a minute, to the outside goes Perondi.
Oh!
Right round, they didn't make contact. They do make contact. But Mays up on the curb, forces him out, and look at Melanie. This is fair game, of course. If Melanie gets past Perondi, that is championship implications, and my calculator's going to my brain. That was rude. And Melanie with an exit. Here we go. Melanie to the inside. The man falling over is Fat Melanie. He wants this now, doesn't he? It's very, very loose on the exit.
It's ignited a spark inside the Finnish driver. This really is exciting stuff now for what could have massive title ramifications, not only from Perondi and Melanie, but also for Leopard as well, because if he can drop more points, it works in favour of the German. Of course, won't have all 25 points by the way things are going. Perondi get really close to the back of a maze there through the stadium section. And once again, this Mercedes train is all benefiting, really, his teammate. You have to argue this is almost like watching what we saw back with Sebastian Vettel a few years ago at Mexico, when, of course, who was it? Was it Max Verstappen went deep and ultimately lost the podium because of the fact that he didn't let him go.
Okay.
But here comes Perondi to the inside. There should be a Rose Munaz down the start, finish straight. And he goes straight back across the line. But here comes Melanie now on a maze to get back past. He tries to look at the inside, but he didn't really let him go.
That's surprising. I would have thought Melanie would have been just walked on by, but clearly not. Clearly Mercedes not running any team orders unless the Maze thinks he can keep with Perondi. Just stir Perondi so Melanie can squeak through. I don't know. Melanie's
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That's almost like a double bluff.
Well, not if Melanie's doing that. Because what that's going to do is bring Boris into it. By the way, brain's having a seizure right now trying to do all this maths, so...
We'll work out at the end.
Yeah.
We've got 3 laps left to go, so let's just focus on the end, as Leopard has now got 8.9 seconds, nearly 9 seconds at the front of the pack, so it has in the end ended up being a Leopard-esque performance. But now we've got the interesting point as they head out of the final corner. Is Amaze worried that because Boris is there's not really a gap to filter into with regards to that particular battle with Melanie and Perondi? But here they come down the start finish.
No ERS.
Amaze has got the DRS. Is he going to be able to have a little bit of go? Heading towards turn 1, he pops himself to the outside line because Perondi is very much committed to the inside. Perondi breaks late. He's trying to swoop around the outside. There's contact between the two. And Amaze in the end does get ahead, but here comes Perondi. What about Perondi though? He's going to come straight back in the maze now. There's a bit of wheel banging as they head down towards turn 4. DRS open for Amaze though, so it's an advantage really for the DRS. What about ERS though? As they break later, does the Scotsman, the bridesmaid, trying to hold on against the championship leader. Now Melanie forced to back out, but a switch back on, and Perondi gets back past her again as they head through towards turn 6, and Perundi's ahead.
How? How did that all happen? There is no grip. Amaze now with 18 seconds. Oh my god. Quick question. How's Dan fallen to last?
He pitted. He's pitted. Why is Dan pitted?
Yeah, I've just thought of that. Hey, weird.
Why is Dan pitted?
Amaze now with a big mistake. Amaze.
Oh, it's round!
Yeah. Amazed his race. It was falling apart at the seams of time. Yeah, he was done to do this race. Angry Scotsman.
That's the end of the championship. That's
Pretty
the
much.
end of the championship for the bridesmaid for another season.
And
Oh
it
dear, oh
means-
dear. But here comes Boris. Boris against Melanie on the final lap.
Yeah, this
Sorry, penultimate lap.
pretty much. If Boris beats Melanie, as I said before, it's pretty much the nail in Melanie's coffin, championship coffin anyway. And of course, this will be pretty big for the constructors. We're amazed out. We don't tend to talk much about the constructors' championship here at LCR, but it is something that it is counted for. At the moment, it's 47 points between Mercedes and Williams. With one Mercedes out, 12 points. Williams scoring 27. 15 points. That's going to bring the championship down to 32.
Yeah, this could be really interesting. The end of the championship hunt, really, for the constructors, of course, that isn't really noticed too much about. I mean, of course, we've had numerous conversations with different drivers, and they always say my focus is on the drivers in particular. LCR Leopard very much makes that explicitly clear when we spoke about him and Mulder.
Perondi has a penalty. Perondi's got 2 penalties.
He's got 2.
2. Didn't realise that
one.
one. Perondi
Yeah, I
has 2.
thought he had 1.
Yeah, Perondi has 2. So
So he's
Perondi
going to drop behind Boris and Melanie. Sorry.
He won't fall behind Sims because Sims' tyres have been shot with a ball, been shot with a brick.
He's done a good stint.
Yeah.
23 laps on mediums. That's a hell of a stint.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's done something very, very impressive here. As Pietro Lomato gets past FXB Armont there up into P6, but I think that's a better result than what he was looking at. Sod off.
Well, here comes Leopard round towards the final couple of corners, and it has been, once he got past Amazed, a fairly quiet second stint for the German driver. It'll be victory number 40 of his LCR career, and a real sign that 6-time Leopard is looking lively as there's a car off in the second set. In fact, it's actually Sims. Sims has got a puncher.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
He done
But
well
Leopard
to get that
towards the
far.
line, and he wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Victory number 40 of his career, and it'll be Perundi, Boris and Melanie in the end. But disaster for Sims, who gets a puncher on the last lap, but towards the line. So Perundi drops outside the podium. It's Leopard, Boris, Melanie. Oh, your podium, and Pietro, take a bow, son.
Yeah.
A disastrous safety car restart as he fell down the order, but it's going to be P5 across the line. There's going to be a photo finish here because
He's lost
Sims is
it.
crawling.
Brad!
Brad goes around the outside. Brad is P7, but will he stay there?
Yeah, he does.
Yes, he will.